We're late, but we're here. Folks, ladies and gentle cars, my name is Farkle8000, and welcome to the 2025 Diecast Competition Season Opener. It's the January competition, or is it the early February competition? We have 252 competitors geared up and ready to go race. 35 of them are entering their second season, and 34 others are starting their first. There are a lot of questions entering this competition, like how will our 2023 champion Symbol do? He's won multiple races each season since his championship. What about Baseline? He's finished third and second respectively in his first two seasons. Can he climb one position higher and claim a championship? Your defending series champion Demon, he wants to go back-to-back and claim his third championship. Can he? And finally, 2020 competitors such as Howler, Stunts, and that season's champion Splitter. They all won on this season's sister track, but how will they do this year? Our first four competitors are lined up at the start line. From right to left, we have Lantern, Engine, Ruthless, and Siren. A quick side note, the first two races of this competition were accidentally recorded at regular speed instead of slow motion. Just kind of prepare yourselves for that. Now, drivers lined up at the start line. It's time to get the 2025 season and the January competition underway. Ruthless out first, and he will cruise to an easy victory. His other three competitors will DNF. They will not make it to their stripe. Man, didn't look like anyone wrecked or anything. It's just no one had enough speed to make it to their piece to push it down. The results are based on how far down the track they made it. Ruthless will move on to the next round. Siren, who bounced off his piece before rolling back, will be placed in second place ahead of Engine. On to race 2, we have Pullback, Venom, Cage, and Bird. Since Pullback is a very long competitor, she has allowed us to put her in the air in her lane. Cage and Venom out fast. Pullback's on her roof and wrecked. Bird has not even made it, has barely even made it halfway down the track, and we'll have a double DNF in this one. What happened to Pullback there? Looking at a rare competition series replay, Pullback slowed out of the start gate, and her front end, I guess, kind of sits too low and catches the opening in the track and wrecks, and Bird just slows down. I'm not too sure what happened there. Venom will be credited with the win over Cage. Apparently we have no results to show you. That is unfortunate. Race 3 holds ladder, 27, 5, and pickup. And welcome back. We are back to slow motion. And the footage is really dark. That's, hope that can be improved as this competition or the season goes on. It's a very even start. 27 falling back early. They bounce through the transition. Pickup is in front. 5 is trying to close. They bounce big again, and Pickup will hold on for the victory. Oh, clean race where they all finish. That was exciting. Next up, we have Sports, Jeep, Chevelle, and Birthday. This race is in slow motion. The reason it's a little brighter is because we have cranked up the brightness on it. I don't know, it doesn't look great. We might not continue using this. Jeep out in front early through the transition. Chevelle's popped up on his side. On the side of the track, so is Jeep. And Sports will drive right around them both to the finish line. And Birthday bounces across the line as well. Chevelle will come so close but DNF. And Jeep will crash later earlier in the track. Both of the leaders crashing, letting Sports to steal. Minecart, Python, Fire, and Sunshine race next. I'm a little worried about Minecart. He's got a low front end, and he's in an outside lane. Those outside lanes are typically not exactly the cleanest or the safest. It's an even start. Sunshine might be ahead a little bit. Through the transition, Fire pops up on 2 wheels. He might be off the track. It's a drag race between Sunshine and Python will take the win. Man, I was worried about Minecart, and it's Fire who'll DNF. most likely due to his two-wheeled action earlier in the race, but man, my worries were not in the right place on that one. Orange Liner. Johnson and Courtesy race next. A quick note, Courtesy is one of the 8 New Yorkers mentioned in the breaking news video uploaded last Friday. So look out for him. Courtesy starts out front just by a little bit. Orange bounces. Orange Liner's off the track. A drag race between Johnson and Courtesy will beat Johnson at the line. Orange Liner will get back into his lane, but it's too late. He and Orange will DNF. Certainly not confusing there. 2 competitors with Orange in their name. But this finish is not good for Courtesy. The further up the standings he goes in this competition, the easier it'll be for him to lose positions as the season goes on. Best case scenario for him is that he's out in round 2. He's got to start the season well, but you can't start the season too well in case you can't hold that position for very long. Courtesy might be putting himself in a hole early for the New Yorkers tournament. Next up is Metrotech. Fins, Bones, and Red. Now might be a good time to mention this since it applies to half the racers in this one. Many competitors this season will run their races backwards. They do that since they feel they'll wreck if they run forwards, so it'll give them a better chance at racing and not wrecking. Fins out in front early through the transition. They all bounce. Bones wobbles. It looks like Red is out in front. Drag race with Bones, and it's Red who'll get the win. That is the closest margin of victory of this competition so far, and it can only get closer from here. Red moves on to the next round. Charger, Bronze, 96 and Dylan are up next. 96 already ahead early through the transition. Dylan pops a wheelie way in the air. Back up in front, it's a 3-way drag race. 96 will beat Charger across the line. And Dylan will DNF. And reporters at the track are saying Dylan's wheelie and DNF is because there's a gap between his front tires and his splitter, and that gap is wide enough to get caught on the opening of the track. Yikes, that is a tough one right there, and not exactly an easy issue to fix. Hope we can find some sort of fix for him so that doesn't keep happening for the rest of the season. Snake, Volks, Rescue, and Double Liner race next. I'm a little worried about Rescue in this race. He's very light, like Siren, and he didn't finish. I guess we'll have to see what happens with Rescue. It's an even start. It looks like Double Liner might be ahead a little bit. They bounce through the transition. Rescue's off the track in front of Volks. Snake will drive to an uncontested and easy win. Double Liner will sneak by the duo before the finish line to claim second. And Rescue and Volks will DNF. Track officials have deemed Rescue to be further ahead than Volks, so he will be credited with third, while Volks is forced to settle with fourth. Stinger, M9, and Toyota race next. I'm a little worried about Stinger here. He's wrecked on tracks like this in the past, too. I guess we'll have to see what happens. It's a very even start. Stinger might be ahead a little bit, and there goes Stinger up, popping a wheelie and upside down. M is off the track as well, and Toyota will get the win over 9. Wow, I did not see M DNFing and wrecking right there, coming off the track. Stinger was quite predictable, though. I saw that coming. Carvana, Impreza, Jordan, and Fender are lined up at the start line, prepped and ready to go. It's a relatively even start. Jordan falling behind. Impreza pops a wheelie. Jordan a little out of shape. It's a drag race all the way to the line. And Carvana will take the win. Impreza sneaks into second place. Fender will sit in third. Jordan comes home fourth. But it's Carvana moving on to the next round. Oldster, FedEx, Velvet, and Finish race next. Finish gets caught by the start line. Velvet's out in front, but now he's off the track. Velvet's off the track in front of Finish. Now he's back in his own lane. A drag race between FedEx and Oldster, and FedEx will get the win. Man, I have no idea what happened to Finish at the start line, but what I do know is that a possible win turned into a very disappointing third place for Velvet. FedEx drives on to the next round. Bullet 222, 13 and Ford race next. 3 of the 4 cars in this race will be in reverse, 13 the only one going forwards. It's a very even start. Through the transition, 222 finds an extra gear and drives away from her competition. 222 picks up an easy win. 13, the only one not going backwards in that race. He went forwards and didn't seem to affect him. He comes home in second. Basket, Total, Worldwide, and Department are up next. Department is the second New Yorker to race so far in this competition. Department out in front early through the transition. He bounces. Total wobbles and out of shape too. It's a drag race. It looks like Basket might be out front. No, it's actually Worldwide who's gonna get the win. A great start of the season for Department as far as the New Yorkers tournament goes. Starting low, he'll have plenty of time and most likely will increase his starting position enough to stay in the series for 2026. Pattern, Patriot, EB, and Outlander are up next. It's an even start. Patriot might be falling behind early. They bounce through the transition. Patriot a little up on the side, and they're 3 wide for the lead. And it's EB who'll get the win. Whoa, that was wild. 3 wide until the line. And EB is the winner. Moving on to the next round. Loves, Exalta, Flatbed, and Silver are lined up at the start line for the next race. It's an even start. Looks like maybe Flatbed's out in front early. He bounces up on the side. Exalta was on 2 wheels as well. A drag race to the line. Loves beats Exalta across the finish line. Flatbed will stall out mid-track. And a promising start for Flatbed leads to a wreck and a DNF. Evolution 30. Luke and Sierra are up next. Sierra gets a great start through the transition. Luke bounces up on the side of the track. Sierra and 30 did not get through the transition very well. And Evolution will be the one to take the win. Sierra got a great start, but that transition and how you navigate it is massive to success on this track. Sierra did not get through it. That's why Evolution is your winner. Moving on to the next round. Prime Target, DFD 37 and 68 race next. 37 in lane 3 is the third of the New Yorkers to race today. Due to his height and lightweight, series officials have warned 37 that tipping over too many times could get him a strike and pulled from the series. And they're off, and 37's already sideways. Bouncing, he's on his side and off the track. Looks like DFD's off the track as well. 68 sneaks through, and Prime Target will get the win. Oh my gosh, that was certified diecast competition series chaos right there. That was early wrecks, and that was a mess. Officials have said that 37 will not get a strike for this race because that wreck was a fluke. That's good. Regardless, he'll finish last. And if he can have a clean race in the next competition, he could gain a ton of spots before season's end. Christopher, Gregson, Sean, and Fangs are up next. Howler was pretty strong in 2020 on the sister track of this track. Fangs is his older brother, so we'll see if Fangs can replicate Howler's 2020 success. Fangs in front early, they bounce through the transition. They're clean though, and Fangs is still in front. No one can get close enough, and so Fangs will get the win and move on to the next round. Turns out, Fangs might be able to replicate Howler's 2020 success. Nighttime, Emerald, Ream, and Plasma. Plasma's out in front early through the transition. They bounce, and Plasma's losing a ton of speed. That'll open the door for Emerald to sneak through and steal the win. What happened to Plasma? It didn't look like he hit the wall. He didn't wreck off the track. He just lost a ton of speed for no reason. I mean, however it may have happened, he'll finish last instead of winning. Emerald moves on to the next round. Bolt, Shooter, Netspend, and Moto up next. And look at this video. We cranked up the brightness again, and oh my gosh, this one looks worse than the first one. We really need to stop doing that. Bolt way out in front early through the transition. Shooter soars through the air, lands on top of Bolt, slowing them both down. Moto will get the win, and Bolt and Shooter will stall out mid-track. Man, that is disappointing for Bolt. He was by far the fastest. He was oh no, look at this. Bolt not pleased with Shooter. Clearly wants to express it. Looks like they're going to talk about it. Hopefully that's all they do. There's no fighting or anything. But from the lead to last place, Bolt goes. Shooter's flight lessons put him in third. Netspin sneaks into second. Moto wins his way to the next round. Skull, Mini, Harvick, and Type X are lined up at the start line, prepped and ready to go. A quick side note before this race. You might hear Type X be called X during the season. It's just a nickname we use sometimes, so if you hear X and wonder who that is, it's Type X. Type X out in front early through the transition. He bounces up on two wheels. So did Harvick, and Type X is still in the lead, and he'll claim the win. That was an impressive recovery from Type X popping up on two wheels. We've seen multiple times already competitors bounce up on two wheels and not be able to save it or even be able to finish. X moves on to the next round. California, Rancher, Busch, and Cruz. Cruz is sitting in lane 4. I'm a little worried about him. He's always fast, but he always has trouble in that lane specifically. I hope he can navigate his way through, keep it clean. Cruz and California out early. They both pop up their back end, and Cruz is pulling away in the lead, but he clips the side and wrecks. California will get the win, and Cruz will DNF sideways at the finish line. I was worried, and Cruz will do as I feared, wrecking in lane 4. He'll DNF as California wins her way to the next round. 35, Bruiser, Citron, and Ethel. A quick note here, we are aware that Citron's name should probably be pronounced Citroën, but we call him Citron because we can, and he's okay with it. It's very close out of the start gate through the transition. Citron bounces up on the side of the track, but he keeps it straight and clean. Ethel pulling away from the pack, and Ethel will get the win. A nice, clean race right there. Ethel drives on to the next round. Gamera, Throwback, Fishy, and Flyer. Fishy in lane 3 had such a heartbreak the last few competitions of 2024. He finished second and was so close to victory in round 1 so many times. I really hope that trend doesn't continue into 2025, but we'll have to wait and see. Fishy and Flyer out the fastest. Flyer might be ahead a little bit. Gamera bounces through the transition up on her side. Drag race between Flyer and Fishy, and Flyer will get the win. And the heartbreak trend for Fishy will continue in 2025. Gibbs, Horseplay, Stunts, and High Point. Stunts starts in front through the transition. They all bounce. Gibbs may be off the track a little bit. Stunts is still in front, and he'll grab the win. Stunts got his so far one and only career win late in 2020 on the sister track to this one. Maybe he can score win number 2 this season, or maybe in this competition. Hendrick, One-Liner, Interstate, and Dodge. It's a relatively even start. One-Liner might be falling behind a little bit, and now One-Liner's on the track, on the side, in front of Hendrick. Dodge will get the win over Gibbs, and neither One-Liner or Hendrick will finish the race. One-Liner's mistake will put him in third, and Hendrick will be forced to settle for last. Dodge moves on to the next round. Diablo, Tron, Crystal, and Castrol. And you'll notice in the background, there's light. Let there be light. Round number 1 takes a lot of time to complete, so we had to go through a couple of days to record. Quick little spoiler alert here. This competition will end when it's dark outside. It's a relatively even start coming into the transition. Diablo Rex is on the side of the track. Crystal's on the side of the track too into Castrol. Tron doesn't have enough momentum to catch them, and Castrol will cross the line in front. Crystal's on the side of the track. Usually we've seen competitors stall out when that happens, but they still had enough momentum. I mean, remember what I said earlier? Something about certified diecast competition chaos? I feel like this race is the true definition of chaos. Kyle Black drifts and 10. Holy moly, that is a very even restart through the transition. Kyle's on the track a little bit. It's a drag race to the line. Drifts, pulls away, and will get the win. Whew, that was a nice clean race. That was awesome. After the chaos that was that last round, we needed that. Drifts moves his way on to the next round. And he actually won on the sister track in 2020. Maybe he can do so again in 2025. 156, Rover, BP, and Racer. I'm a little worried about Rover in lane 2. He's similar to Stinger as his body style and design could cause him to wreck spectacularly. We'll have to see. Rover starts ahead. Looks like ahead of 156, and there goes Rover on his side, but he's still in his lane, not affecting anyone else. 156 drives to an easy victory, and Rover will DNF on his side near the finish line. We saw it coming, but there was nothing we could do about it. Kind of impressive, actually, that he almost slid on his side across the finish line. Fell short, though. DeWalt, Mustang, Lego, and Armor All. Mustang starts out in front through the transition. He's on his nose. Mustang now on top of Lego, now on 2 wheels, and he finally goes fully over. DeWalt will get the win over Armor All, and Mustang will bounce off his finished piece and DNF. Mustang wrecked all the way down the track, hit his finished piece, but didn't have enough momentum, and Mustang will claim what is quite possibly the greatest DNF in the diecast competition series. Country, Tire Pros, Catapult, and Gear Wrench. Catapult in lane 3 impressed me a lot last season in a rookie year. Smaller than other competitors, but didn't let that bring her down. Maybe not the points finish, but the racing that Catapult showed was really impressive. Catapult slow and sideways off the start gate. It's Gear Wrench out in front. Catapult pops a wheelie. Airborne drives to third and gets second across the line. Gear Wrench will get the win, but that is what I was talking about. An incredible comeback by Catapult. Wow. Just wow. Sprint, Taxi, Mahindra, and Rev. Taxi in lane 2 is the 4th of the New Yorkers to race today. Whoa, Mahindra does a little sideways off the start gate. Taxi's out front but bounces up on 2 wheels. Here comes Sprint, they're side by side, and Sprint will get the win ahead of Taxi. So far, I'm the most worried about is Courtesy in the New Yorkers tournament. He's the only one who's made it to round 2, which means his starting spot will be way higher, will be way harder to gain than all of his pals. Sprint moves on to the next round. Spider, Trunkless, Copo, and Howler. Earlier when Fangs raced, I mentioned Howler. Howler did win in 2020 on the sister track, and Fangs won early in this round. Let's see how Howler does. Trunkless falling behind early. Bat looks to be ahead. Copo now up and on his side. Howler clips something on the side of the track and flips upside down as well in Copo's lane. Spider will win. Trunkless in second. Howler and Copo will be placed 3rd and 4th respectively, but DNF. And after Fangs win in the same lane, this finish from Howler is very disappointed, especially given his track record. Skyline, Comscope, T-Rex Destroyer, and Goldie. Just a quick note, you might hear us call T-Rex Destroyer T. It's a similar thing with Type X from earlier. T is just a nickname. It's a very even start. Don't know who's ahead. Comscope bounces up on two wheels, and they're four wide. Four wide for the win to the lead. T-Rex Destroyer gets the win, and Comscope, despite his big bounce, will come home in second. 3 out of 4 ain't bad. That's how many competitors race backwards in this next one. Otto, Tootsies, Kurt, and Speeder. Speeder, the only one going forwards. It's a very even start. Speeder might be ahead a little bit. Tootsies bounces, and now starts to fall behind. Otto and Speeder drag race to line, and Otto will get the win. Speeder, being the only one going forwards, didn't let him down. He'll finish second. Otto moves on to the next round. Moneyline, Kohler, Pursuit, and M3. The way M3 in Lane 4 ended last season was very disappointing. Was in the top 10 all season, but faltered when it mattered most. He's got the chance to start this season off better than last one ended. M3 ahead a little bit by Pursuit. Pursuit now bounces up on two wheels through the transition. It's a drag race. They're side by side, and I think it's M3. No, it's Pursuit. Pursuit will actually get the win. How did he do that? I thought it was M3. It's actually Pursuit. That is by far the closest finish of this competition so far. I mean, I could have bet that M3 won that race, but in the end, it's Pursuit. Going to the next round. Blackout, 28, 1, and Zonda. I'm a little worried about Zonda here. He's pretty low to the track on both ends, so the possibility of him flipping or wrecking at the transition is very high. 28 ahead early, Zonda falling back. They bounce through the transition, but here comes Zonda. He's up to third, now second, and he'll pass 28 at the line for the win. What a comeback by Zonda. From last to first, gets the win. And I was worried about him. Oh my gosh. That was, you know what that was? That was Catapult's comeback. If she could have won, that was incredible. Missile, York, 55, and Chomps are up next. You can probably tell based off his name, but York in lane 2 is our 5th New Yorker of this competition. It's a pretty even start. York might be ahead a little bit. Chomps pops up on two wheels, clips the side of the track, and he's off the track. Now barrel rolling. Off the side of the track, Chomps will DNF in a spectacular way. York will go on to the win. So the New Yorkers tournament will at least have some intrigue between Courtesy and York. But Chomps, with just an absolutely terrible start to 2025. I mean, he wrecked in the All-Star New Year's tournament, and now he's flipped out of January. We're getting word from track officials and paramedics that he is okay. First, we're being told his first words to paramedics were, and we quote, "Guess I'm going backwards this year." Plymouth, Drafter, Safari, and Railing up next. Plymouth out in front early through the transition. He and Drafter both bounce. Safari up on two wheels. A drag race between Plymouth and Drafter, and Plymouth will get the win. Picking up right where he left off last season, Plymouth will continue to kill the series with ridiculous consistency. Indy, Redliner, Brant, and Tab. Brant gets stuck at the start gate. It looks like Tab's ahead, but now he's losing speed. Indy makes the pass for the lead. It's a drag race, and Indy will hold on for the win. I don't know what happened to Brant there at the start gate. He's a NASCAR. All of them have been very competitive. He could have been too. We might have to look at what happened there at the start gate. That's also happened to other competitors too, so definitely have to look into that before the next competition. Fastenal, Mixer, Spikes, and Spoiler. Mixer's your early leader through the transition. Spikes bounces big. Mixer's on his side into Fastenal, slowing them both down. Spoiler will get the win. Spikes in second. Mixer will be able to cross the line, but Fastenal will not have enough speed to cross, and so he will DNF. Fastenal could have won, and he is not happy with Mixer whatsoever. Yet another conversation happening. Hopefully it's just that and not a fight. Here's the results. Fastenal, and last, when he could have won, is what stings the most here. Spoiler moves on to the next round. Lefty, Hot Wheels, Pennzoil, and Rifle. Hot Wheels, the only competitor not in reverse. Hot Wheels was a decent lead here early through the transition. Pennzoil flips on his roof. Lefty doesn't have the speed. Rifle's not close enough. And Hot Wheels will get the win. Pennzoil DNFing here on his roof about halfway to the finish line. That is, I believe that's the first time, maybe my memory is just kind of killing me here, but I believe that is the first time we've seen an NASCAR flip in this competition so far. So that is rare. Hopefully he can get it sorted out for the next competition. And darkness has fallen once again, but the footage isn't pitch black. Yes, we have found a way to light up the races. Shout out to Blades 500 for the ring light. It has certainly lit up the track 10 times better than what it was at the start of this round. Nova, Benz, Motosaurus, and Lightning race next. Benz in lane 2 is the 6th New Yorker to race in this round. Motosaurus and Nova out quick. Benz bounces big, and here comes Lightning on the far side. Passes Motosaurus before the line, and Lightning will get the win. Moving on to the next round. Benz comes home in 3rd in that race. A pretty good race for him. Maybe a little bit of an issue right there through the transition that could cause him to lose a lot of spots here. But a good start for him in the New Yorkers tournament. Once again, Lightning moving on to the next round. 3 out of 4 run in reverse once again. Discount, Hyperice, Budweiser, and Rick. Rick is the only competitor not in reverse. Rick starts out in front early through the transition. It's a big wobble by Hyperice. He's on the side, on Discount, and Budweiser will beat Rick at the line. A very close race there. It looked like Rick had it, but just lost it at the last possible second. Budweiser drives on to the next round. Proto, X8, Star, and M&M's are up next. It's a very even start. M&M's might be in front early. X8 up on the side a little bit. A drag race to the line. Proto will beat M&M's across the stripe. Proto drives her way on to the next round. And, by the way, yes, that is the 3rd Kyle Busch M&M's diecast in this competition. I promise it will be the last. Smithfield, Daylight, Sprinter, and Future are up next. Sprinter is the 7th New Yorker in this competition. Just like 37, Sprinter has been given 3 strikes and a tipping warning. Sprinter is a little heavier than 37. We'll have to wait to see what happens. Sprinter out in front early. They bounce through the transition. Sprinter a little wobble. Future's now out in front. Sprinter trying to close, but Future will hold on for the win. No problem there for Sprinter. Or on track or in the tournament points. Finishes 2nd. That's great for him. Future, though, is the one moving on to the next round. Flames, Confetti, Ally, and Club up next. Confetti slow, and Flames is a little sideways. Confetti bounces up on the side of the track. Ally's in front, but Club finds another gear and passes right before the finish line. Oh, it looked like Ally was going to win that one, but Club just kind of hit the nitro button and passed him. Turbo, Base, Patrol, and GM. Patrol is the 8th and final New Yorker to race in this competition. 2 New Yorkers have won so far, those being Courtesy and York. So we'll see if Patrol can join them. An even start, maybe GM ahead a little early through the transition. Patrol's on the side of the track. GM pulling away, the battles for 2nd, and Base will claim that spot. That is a terrible race for Patrol. He will finish, but it's very worrying. He's got the same type of design as York and Taxi, and neither of them had an issue. So for Patrol's sake, I hope this wreck was a fluke. Blitz, 3, Virtual and Blue up next. Blue starts in the lead through the transition. Blue bounces, pops a wheelie. Virtual got on the side but has enough speed to challenge for the win. And Virtual will beat Blitz across the line. That was a very impressive recovery from Virtual. Off the track early but still had enough speed and momentum to get the win. White, Mobile, Purple, and Pace. Pace out in front early, Purple keeping close, they bounce through the transition. They all keep it clean though, Pace in the lead, but Purple drives right to the lead and will take the win. Maybe more like steal the win. That looked like it was going to be Pace, but Purple with a huge head of steam grabbed it and doing what she does best at the start of every season, getting a win to start very high up in points. Hopefully, she can stay there this season. This win was very impressive. Carrera, Dragon, Symbol, and Dual Fueler. Symbol way out in front early. He bounces through the transition on top of Dual Fueler. Symbol gets straightened out, and Dual Fueler will somehow get to second place. Carrera takes an easy victory. But Symbol comes home in a disappointing last place. Carrera drives on to the next round. Splitter, Bleu, defending series champion Demon, and Baseline. Demon and Baseline out in front early. They bounce through the transition. Bleu on the side of the track. Baseline's ahead of Demon, and Baseline will prove the All-Star New Year's tournament wasn't a fluke. Baseline gets another piece of redemption from 2024 and beats Demon once again. Baseline's moving on to the next round. Voltage, Hamlin, Chastain, and Hooters. Voltage in lane 1 is the final veteran to race in this round. Everyone after him and for the rest of the round will be your 2025 rookies. Voltage ahead really early. All the rookies bounce through the transition. Chastain on the side of the track, and Voltage will pick up an easy win. Voltage taking the rookies to school and showing them how it's done. He'll move on to the next round. As mentioned earlier, this race and the rest of the races in this round contain rookies only. This is the first time these competitors have raced in the Diecast Competition Series. Polar, Burner, Jacqueline, and Beetle. It's an even start. Oh, Jacqueline gets caught up at the start line. Burner on the side of the track a little bit, and Polar drives away from the rest of the pack to take an easy win. Jacqueline will limp across the finish line there, and just like many other competitors, I don't know what happened there with Jacqueline. Very similar issue to Brant 37 and a few others. Track officials really need to take a look at that before the next competition. Mighty, Wallace, Ziegler, and AE. It's an even start. Mighty might be ahead a little bit. He bounces through the transition up on 2 wheels. Ziegler off the track as well. A drag race between AE and Wallace, and AE will get the win. Mighty had a great start, but as mentioned earlier in this competition, or really in this round, that transition is everything. He did not get through it very well, and AE did, so that's why AE is moving on to the next round. X-Train, Viper, Mountain, and Drift Rod. X-Train is the younger sibling to Missile, who raced earlier. If I recall, Missile was pretty close to winning, so we'll see what X-Train does today. Viper way out in front early, but he gets a bad bounce through the transition, and X-Train has the lead over Drift Rod, and X-Train will get the win. Unlike his older brother, X-Train moves on to the next round. Ranger, Sunny, Hull, and Sylvia. Sylvia barely out in front early through the transition. The NASCARs bounce. Sylvia's out in front, but here comes Hull to grab the win. Sylvia was so close. She could see it. She could feel it, and Hull just smashed those dreams to pieces. Hull moves on to the next round. Cheetah, Miller, Stingray, and Falcon. Vulcan has a good start and is out front early. Through the transition, they bounce, and Stingray finds an extra gear and drives away to an easy win. Where did that speed come from? That was amazing. I mean, wherever that speed came from, that speed might be enough to win her this competition. Oh my god. Stingray moves on to the next round. Nightmare, Artie, Shifter, and Drone. Quick thing to note here, Drone's top can come off, revealing kind of the inside of his cockpit, but Drone has chosen to race with his top on. Drone out in front early, but the pack quickly closes. They all wobble through the transition, and they're 4 wide side by side to the line, and Nightmare will get the win over Shifter. I thought Drone had it, and then the pack closed, and it was on from there. Nightmare moves on to the next round. Strip, Custom, Roadster, and Mach. Strip in lane 1 was crazy fast in the rookie races, but he kind of fell off towards the end. I hope that speed can return for the competitions. It's a very even start. Custom might be ahead early. They bounce through the transition. Custom off the track on the side of Roadster, and Mach will grab the win. Mach capitalizes on his fellow rookie's mistakes and drives on to the next round. Folks, ladies and gentle cars, we've made it. It's time for the 60-second and final race of round 1. It is a 3-car race with Comic, the Bug, and Elliot. Elliot is the younger brother of Splitter, who raced earlier. Splitter is the champion of the series on the sister track of this one. Maybe Elliot can start his bid here today. Comic out in front early through the transition. The Bug bounces on top of Elliot, straightens back up, and keeps Comic honest to the line. And Comic will be the final competitor, moving on to round 2. Elliot got the worst of that wreck, and the Bug nearly won the race. As mentioned, Comic is the final competitor to win his way to round number 2. And there we have it. Here's the 62 competitors moving on to the next round. One of them will win this competition. It could be a first-time winner. It could be one we've seen in Victory Lane many times. Make your early predictions. Mine easily goes out to Stingray. That race was just incredible. But we have made it to the end of the round. We will see you. Hopefully, we'll see you later this week for round number 2 of this competition. Until then, my name is Farkle8000, and I'll see you later. Who am I kidding? Let's get straight into round 2. Folks, ladies and gentle cars, there are 62 cars to race in this round. Only 16 will advance to round 3. There are plenty of spots available in the garage for eliminated competitors. Let's find out who will fill the next slots. Roofless, Venom, Pickup, and Sports race first. Venom falling a little behind early, bouncing Pickup's on the side of the track into Sports. Roofless trying to drive by, but he can't get there. Sports will win his way to round 3. That was very well done by Sports. He got hit, could have let that affect him, but didn't, and he drives on to round 3. Courtesy, Python, Red, and 96 are up next. Courtesy is only one of 2 New Yorkers to have made it to round 2. Best case scenario for him here is if he finishes second. I mean, if he can finish last, that'd be even better for him. Python's way out in front early, but she bounces through the transition. Courtesy's up on 2 wheels, and it's a 3-way drag race to the line. Red steals the win. What a pass for Red. That was an incredible last minute. Red makes the move to get herself to round 3. Snake, Toyota, Carvana, and FedEx. Toyota gets caught up at the start line. Through the transition, Toyota flips upside down on his roof and Snake will drive to an easy victory. Toyota DNF's behind. He has massive mirrors, side mirrors, so putting him in middle lanes is risky enough. Now, add the issues we've had throughout this competition so far, and I guess Toyota was kind of doomed for a disastrous race. Snake drives on to the next round. 222 Worldwide, EB and Loves. EB and Loves start in front through the transition. EB bounces up on the side a little bit. 222 is in the lead. Worldwide's trying to close, but 222 will hold on for the victory. I think it was going to be very hard to beat 222 in this race. EB had a chance early. He just kind of lost it through the transition. 222 on to the next round. It might even be very hard to beat 222 for the win. She has a chance to win this competition. Evolution, Prime Target, Fangs, and Emerald. Something we forgot to mention in the last round is that we might call Prime Target Prime this season. It's kind of like X for Type X or T for T-Rex Destroyer. It's just a nickname. Evolution and Fangs just barely ahead through the transition. Prime bounces in the air. Fangs is ahead, but Evolution will make the pass for the win. Fangs competing in this race and coming so close to victory makes Howler's round 1 elimination that much more disappointing. Regardless, it's Evolution moving on to the next round. Moto, Type X, California, and Ethel. Type X barely ahead early through the transition. Type X and Moto bounce up on 2 wheels, but they're still in the front. And Type X will get the win. They were sideways. X and Moto were sideways, up on 2 wheels through the transition, and they still came home first and second. That's impressive. Type X moves on to the next round. Flyer, Stunts, Dodge, and Castrol. Dodge way out in front, out of the start gate fast, but through the transition, he bounces way up in the air. Flyer and Stunts drives past, and Stunts will grab the win. Dodge had it. He had such an incredible start, but he didn't keep his tires on the ground after the transition, so he'll have to settle with 4th and a what could have been. Stunts drives on to the next round. Drifts, 156, DeWalt, and Gear Wrench. It's a very even start through the transition. Whoa! 156 in the air into DeWalt. Gear Wrench and Drifts will drive past. Gear Wrench will get the win. 156 and DeWalt will DNF, stall out mid-track, will not finish this race. Officials have deemed DeWalt to be furthest ahead, so he will finish 3rd. 156 will finish 4th. Gear Wrench will drive on to the next round. Sprint, Spider, T-Rex Destroyer, and Auto. Ooh, it's a very even start. T might be ahead a little bit, but now he bounces up on the side. Spider has the lead. Sprint trying to close, and out of nowhere, T-Rex Destroyer gets the win. I thought Spider had it. I have no idea where T-Rex Destroyer got that speed from. But wherever it came from, it'll move him on to the next round. Pursuit, Zonda, York, and Plymouth. York is the second and final New Yorker to have made it to round 2. No matter what happens in this race, he will be the highest starter in points this season amongst the 8. He needs to finish last in this one if he wants any chance at competing next season. Plymouth starts in the lead through the transition. Zonda bounces York on the side of the track. Now he gets straightened out. Plymouth will get the easy win over Pursuit. York will come across the line in 3rd, which is fine, but 4th would have been so much better. Plymouth continues to kill his competitors with consistency. He moves on to the next round. Indy, Spoiler, Hot Wheels, and Lightning. Hot Wheels will start in the lead through the transition. He bounces up on the side of the track. Lightning drives past, and with a huge gap to second, Lightning will take the win. With that big of a gap, Lightning might have won either way, but it would have been so much harder without Hot Wheels' mistake. Lightning drives on to the next round. Budweiser, Proto, Future, and Club. It's a very even start. Future might be ahead a little bit. Proto bounces. Everyone else keeps it clean. Future have the lead. Proto gets it back, and Proto will get the win. Proto's mistake could have been a lot like Hot Wheels in the last race, but she composed herself fast enough to still get the win to advance to round 3. GM, Virtual, Purple, and Carrera. GM and Carrera have the lead through the transition. GM bounces. Virtual's in Purple's lane. GM has it gathered back up and will narrowly beat Carrera across the line. It was a drag race. GM still got the win. An incredible save to get there. He'll move on to the next round. Baseline, Voltage, Polar, and AE. Polar and AE are rookies, and Baseline and Voltage went head-to-head in an intense battle in the All-Star New Year's tournament. The veterans pull ahead, the rookies fall back. Baseline and Polar bounce through the transition. Voltage and Baseline side by side, and Voltage will narrowly get the win. Voltage proving his All-Star New Year's tournament win wasn't a fluke. He beat Baseline then. He beats Baseline today to move on to the next round. The final 2 races in this round will hold 3 drivers and rookies only. X-Train, Hull, and Stingray are up next. X-Train and Stingray start in front. Stingray bounces up on 2 wheels, but has the lead and drives away from her competitors to score yet another easy win, picking up right where she left off in round 1. Dominating and showing the potential speed to win this competition. The final race of round 2 holds Nightmare, Mock, and Comic. Comic starts with a pretty sizable lead through the transition. They bounce up on 2 wheels. Comic has the lead. Nightmare clips the wall, and Comic will beat Mock across the line. No major mistakes from any competitors. It was just whoever was fastest took the win. Comic is the one who drives on to the next round. And that, folks, ladies and gentle cars, is the end of round 2. Shorter than round 1, but just, if not more, action. We're one step closer to crowning a winner. We'll be back later this week for the final 2 rounds of this competition. But before I go, I want to make my guesses on who's going to make the final 4. I'm just going to go left to right here, because that's race 1 to race 4. So race 1, I feel like 222 is a relatively obvious and safe pick, so I'm going to go with her. Race 2 is a little tough. It's between Evolution and Gear Wrench. I think I'm going to go with Evolution. There, I've liked the speed that she's shown. We'll go Evolution there. Race 3 feels like another easy pick. It's got to be Plymouth. And race 4, I've been saying it since round 1. Come on. Stingray. We'll get there. So that's my pick for the final 4. Make your picks. Feel free to give your reasoning in the comments below. My name is Farkle8000, and I'll see you later. Did I fool anyone? Nah, probably not. You can tell there's more time left in the video. Let's get into round 3. Folks, ladies and gentle cars, 16 competitors remain in the 2025 January competition. Only 4 can make it to the final 4. Only 1 can win the entire competition. Make your picks. I know I have. Just to remind you, from left to right, I have picked 222, Evolution, Plymouth, and Stingray. So, those are my picks. Let's get to racing. Sports, Red, Snake, and 222. 222 and Snake even out of Stargate through the transition. Sports bounces Red on the side of the track. 222 is the lead. And 222 will be the first competitor moving on to round 4. Evolution, Type X, Stunts, and Gear Wrench are up next. It's a very even start. Looks like X is ahead through the transition. Evolution gets a terrible transition. Stunts is ahead. Gear Wrench is trying to close. And Stunts will be able to hold on and drive on to round 4. Stunts will join 222 as half of the final 4 have been set. T-Rex Destroyer, Plymouth, Lightning, and Proto. Plymouth starts way out in front through the transition. He makes a mistake. He's on the side. So is Lightning. They get it straightened out, but neither has enough speed to beat T-Rex Destroyer. T capitalizes on Plymouth and Lightning's mistake to drive himself to round 4, joining 222 in Stunts. 1 spot remains in round 4, and 4 competitors remain in round 3. GM, Voltage, with rookies Stingray and Comic, are up next. Oh, Comic starts in the lead this time through the transition. GM bounces, but Comic is still in the lead. Stingray cannot pass him, and Comic will be the final competitor in round 4. We have 4 competitors to left and 1 final round to decide it all. We'll be back in just a second. We started with 252 competitors, and now just 4 remain in the 2025 January competition. I hope you're ready to meet your competitors, because I'm ready to introduce them. Starting in lane number 1, it's 222. She's finished second 4 times and doesn't have a career win. She hopes to claim her first today. Starting in lane number 2, it's Stunts. He hasn't won since his rookie year in 2020. On the plus side, his most recent win came on the sister track to this one. Starting in lane number 3, it's T-Rex Destroyer. He hasn't won since his rookie year in 2019. Since then, he's gotten a new body, and his best finish is 3rd 3 times. He wants to return to victory lane. And finally, starting in lane number 4, it's Comic. He's a rookie. This is his first Diecast Competition Series start, and she hopes to take home his first career win today. The way a competitor wins a competition is a little confusing to explain, but I'll do my best. Competitors will start in lanes 1 through 4 and race down the track. Then they'll swap lanes and race again. If a competitor wins 2 races in a row, they will be crowned the winner. If not, we'll go 4 races in total, and then I'll explain what happens when we get from there, or what happens from there. I would say, if we get there, but both finishes on this channel so far have needed more than 4 races, so it's likely, but also not unlikely. It's time to shake off those nerves. It's time to race for a competition win. Competitors lined up at the start line, prepped, and ready to go. Comic out the fastest. T-Rex Destroyer maybe a little sideways. They bounce through the transition, and Comic is just pulling away from his competitors to claim his first win. Stunts, T-Rex Destroyer, and 222, your finishing results. Comic has the advantage. If this round is to continue after this race, anyone but Comic needs to win this one. Comic, 222, Stunts, and T-Rex Destroyer is how they will swap lanes. Oh, it's 222 with the early lead through this time, but she bounces through the transition, stunts is on the side of the track, and Comic pulls across the line in first. Comic made the pass around 222, and for the first time since 2020, a rookie has won the season opener. Comic is a Diecast Competition Series winner. He's the first rookie to lead the points since 2022, and Comic has become the 36th different winner of the series. And here are the results. T-Rex Stroyer sneaks into second place with that one, which means we have a disagreement. 222 finished second in race 1, but T finished second in race 2. So, who gets second? Well, the series will run a grudge match. A grudge match is a one and done. Whoever wins this race will get second in this competition. 222 in lane 1 and T-Rex Stroyer in lane 4 is how they will line up for the grudge match. It's hard to tell who's in front. Maybe 222. They bounce through the transition, but they're still on track. A drag race side by side, and 222 will get the win in the grudge match, and for the 5th time in her career, will finish second in a competition. And T-Rex Stroyer will get his 4th third place finish since 2019. 222's second place finish in this competition will give her 5 in her career. That is tied with Dual Fueler for the most second place finishes without a win. Folks, ladies and gentle cars, this has been the 2025 January competition. We here at the Diecast Competition Series hope you enjoyed this competition. We hope to be more on time later this month for the February competition. We'll have to see how life goes for that. For real this time. Congrats to Comic. My name is Farkle8000. We'll see you later.